moving ahead and really adopting AI at the speed of AI.
So what is the trend right now if you look at global e-commerce companies or even Indian e-commerce companies?
Most of the shopping has moved from a classical brick and mortar to the online platforms. So online has become transformed into mobile, and mobile has transformed into quick commerce.
If your customers have to access this particular platform, would it be correct to assume that there will be a subscription cost for the platform?
Services are not necessarily needed. So it's a subscription, but initially there needs to be a setup.
So let me ask about some of the trends that you foresee for the next 2-3 years.
One of the trends that we expect, obviously, as AI become richer as well as more independent in terms of decision making.
More than 70% online purchases start with search, and yet fewer than 15% shoppers move beyond the first page. This signals the importance of digital shelf for the brands and customers. Hello and a warm welcome to the Simulated Reality podcast. I am Sandeep Sharma, Senior Director for Research and Advisory. Our guest today for the podcast is Mr. Debobroto Ghosh, VP Products and IP at C5I. He is an expert in the area of AI-powered digital shelf. In this podcast, he will explain to us the overall concept and the challenges that it addresses for brands and customers. Welcome to the podcast, Debo.
Thank you, Sandeep. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
Doing good, very good.
And how has Bangalore traffic treated you so far?
So far, very good, actually. I landed yesterday in the mid-afternoon, and that was easy for me to really travel to my location. And today also it was very easy. And the rains are mild, so it's good.
Okay, wonderful. So today, Debo, we are looking, the podcast is about cracking the digital shelf.
Yeah.
I think a lot of customers, a lot of brands are facing issues with regards to digital shelf availability, visibility, and a lot of other factors. So I think you're an expert in this particular space, and you're working with C5I. C5I is an expert in this space. So today we are going to talk about this particular challenge and what kind of challenges are organizations facing, and how can some of these issues be resolved through your particular solution.
Sure.
So before that, let me just quickly get started with a round of introductions. So why don't you help us understand your journey so far in your career, and also help us understand C5's introduction.
Sure. So I started my career almost 29 years back. And that time, the world was looking forward to Y2K problem. And then year after year, new type of challenges were knocking the door of the industries and the IT industry specifically, with Y2K followed by a .com and then .com burst and all. And then it came the e-commerce, and then it came into digital, and now we are looking into AI. So I have lived through the waves of transformation through my career, all those 29 years. Worked with large size, mid size, as well as consulting firm. Did my own startup stint as well, and currently working with as a product head and as a VP of innovation and IP with C5I. And C5I has been in the industry for the last 25 years, starting with a market research and data and analytics firm. From a data analytics firm, it becomes an analytics and AI firm. And we are actually transforming and metamorphing into AI native firm. So that's where we are heading. We have been lucky enough or fortunate enough to really work with Fortune 50, Fortune 100 and 500 clients, where we get to solve a lot of different problems. And these problems are unique to certain enterprise, certain industries. And one of the unique problem is what you are really talking about is the digital shelf problem. It's a paradox that everybody knows what it is, but solving this has a different challenge as well as different ways to do it. And with advent of AI, it is making easy as well as difficult. So sure. We will talk about that, I guess, today during this.
Sure, absolutely. So how big is C5I?
So C5I is almost 2,000 people strong, and like primarily centered in the delivery center. We are headquartered in Mumbai in India, but we have offices all across the world.
Okay.
A lot of consulting, and our client-facing teams operate out of different continents. In North America, we have presence in LATAM, the the continental Europe, Singapore, Australia, and multiple places.
Sure.
We have done few acquisitions during our path or journey, and recently we acquired Analytic Edge, which is a pure play market mix modeling and basically marketing optimization solution provider. And this has been really working very well for us, because again, in the context of digital shelf, when what we are trying to do is that digital shelf is one of the supporting factor for optimizing the media spend,
Sure.
especially the retail media spend. So that goes very hand in hand. So we are doing great in terms of the how we adopt AI, but with new AI challenges also becomes innovative, because you see different types of perspective and expectation from clients.
Okay, so Debo, it would also be wonderful to understand from you the products and IP portfolio that C5I has.
Definitely. So we have IP. We don't call it a product. To be very, I would like to stay corrected over there. Is that we call it these as accelerators and platforms.
Okay.
The reason is that we want to make sure that we can adopt these solutions or the platforms to the needs of the clients and don't remain as a black box, and making sure that they can deliver the impact that the client is looking for. Okay, as per their expectation, as per their needs. So we have one way, we have like the C5I Compete, which is a digital shelf product, which
Sure.
we will talk about. We have C5I Discovery, which is an augmented analytics and decision intelligence platform. We have Demand Driver, which came with our acquisition of AE. So that is a market mix model, a media mix model platform. Then we have Insiverse, which is an ad optimization or ad tech platform, which looks into the creative effectiveness. And then we have certain other platforms like Research Assist. We have synthetic data platforms and many other ones that actually creates a whole, I would say, plethora and spectrum of solutions meant for different needs, but all centered and pivoted around AI.
End-to-end holistic solutions.
Yeah, end-to-end
catering
holistic
to a certain
solution.
segment of customers.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So now let's actually deep dive into the specific digital shelf problem. So in layman's terms, what exactly is the digital shelf issue that organizations are facing?
So as you know that most of the shopping has moved from a classical brick and mortar to the online platforms. And online has become transformed into mobile, and mobile has transformed into quick commerce.
Sure.
So when it comes to the retail landscape, it has been changing, and everybody is moving towards the digital platforms to really showcase their products, taking the products promotions to the audiences and getting attention of the buyer community and trying to sell more. And in this process, buyers are also empowered with the ability to browse multiple platforms together, multiple channels together, and then make a final decision and then place an order. And everybody expects that order to be delivered in a quick delivery time. Now, all of these means this whole ecosystem has become complex. That means everybody is trying to get an attention. That means the discoverability of the product. So if you are a brand and you want to be discovered, you need to discover right there with a single click. If you are discovered, the purchase experience or buying journey should be very smooth. And then while you are doing that, you should be able to give the very convincing offers to the customer. And then the whole delivery experience or the purchase experience should end with a good after sales. So that means all of these needs to package together into that in your the screen size of your phone.
Sure.
So that's why to really getting that details really organized and met into a single phone screen is becoming a challenge. That's how I define it, that having those many moving parts working together in tandem in the very limited space, that's the digital shelf that you have.
Okay.
All that you can do is in that space. And
Sure.
that is where people, like companies are struggling to have this pricing, promotion, what we call as the classical 5P of marketing. See, product, price, promotion, placement, and people, all of that work together in conjunction to their customers' expectation is what is the challenge.
Sure. In fact, when you were mentioning this particular concept of the digital shelf, one would have assumed that already a lot of e-commerce companies would have actually looked at some digital shelf solution, right?
Yes.
So what is the trend right now, if you look at global e-commerce companies or even Indian e-commerce companies? What is the state of adoption of digital shelf right now?
So it's like earlier it used to be like a differentiator or it's an enabler. Now it's a table stake. Like if you have to really succeed, because because the competition in the landscape is becoming so complex, technology is so much improvised. So every brand and every retailer to sustain and survive and scale, they need a solution which can actually give them this whole 5P data together along with insights which are actionable in nature in a very like a near real-time basis.
Sure.
So e-commerce players, brands, the retailers, everybody needs this information and they have to have it for their business to succeed and grow and compete. So that's the thing. If everybody is adopting to it.
That's good to hear. But then when you say that everybody is adopting it, then I'm sure that it has become more like a commodity kind of a solution right now.
It has.
And with that statement, I think the retailers, e-commerce companies, brands actually are facing a lot of issues, a lot of challenges, right? So could you help us understand, and obviously if you could substantiate that with certain examples as well from some relevant customer segments of yours, could you highlight the top maybe 2 or 3 challenges that some of the customers are facing?
Yeah, definitely.
And please feel free to include any wacky kind of challenges that customers have pointed out.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. So the thing is that even if you see the way a brand positioning happens, so right from a product launch to promoting the product to really raise the sales for that, and then also the end of life of the product, reintroduction, again reactivating a product. This whole life cycle is complex. Sure. And within the organization, multiple teams are involved. Everybody needs to really latch on to a single platform to get a single view of the digital shelf. So for that, first thing is that the speed at which you can get the data and the speed at which you can provide the insight to these different teams as per their needs is one of the toughest challenges that most of the e-commerce players face, because the decision has to be made very quickly. So the speed is of essence. So in that case, the one challenge that most of the companies face is there are providers, but their speed at which they can get the data and the speed at which they can adopt a change is also different. And that's where we have seen examples from our clients who really onboarded C5I Compete, our digital shelf product. They have seen that, hey, I was really working with this vendor, but to get something changed, like a brand who is present across, say, globally, and they are doing it with, say, 200 retailers across the globe, and to add another retailer who has come up in Latin America, I have to wait for two weeks to get that, which we typically do in 2 hours also sometimes.
Oh, wonderful.
So that is what the speed is, one thing that they face, and that's one of the challenge. Second thing is that nobody wants to hog a lot of data, because the digital shelf concept works in getting publicly data available, really transform and harmonize that data. And then if showing it different graphs and chart doesn't help. Second thing is that how do you really get the insights, and the insights should be actionable. Like one of our clients in the CPG industry who are in the snacks and chocolates category, they said, I get the data from one of the industry leading product, but so what? What will I do with this data? Tell me what I need to do, correct? What actions I need to do when I see the content score of my products are going down in, say, a particular country in EMEA region. So what do I need to do? Give me more recommendation, more prescriptive insights. Don't just give me the data with beautiful charts. So that's the second thing that they feel. And that's the type of instances that we have seen, our customers have seen.
Okay, wonderful. So now that we have looked at some of the typical challenges that you faced, please help us understand how Compete actually provides us a speedy solution, actionable intelligence to address some of the challenges that your customers are facing.
Yeah, so as I told you that sometimes we turn things around in matter of hours. So when we look into, if you divide like the digital shelf problem, first thing is getting the data is one of the biggest challenge. Okay, and because that is volume, the why it becomes challenging is the first thing is the volume is high. Second thing, the data sources are disparate. So when you get the data from one set of retailers in India and you get the data from one set of retailers in say LATAM or one in North America, they will have their different data structure, their different containers in which the data is there. These things also keep on changing on a regular basis and so on and so forth. So what really matters is that how do you really detect it quickly?
Sure.
So things will change because every retailers, every e-commerce players, every marketplace is evolving. So they will change. How quickly you can detect. So you have AI algorithms which can detect the changes, which can identify the patterns using clustering technologies. And that is how we will be able to really preempt where things can break and make sure that proactively it is corrected so that the data flow does not break. So that is the biggest problem. Like not having the data is the first problem that you need to solve.
Sure.
Second thing comes is that, as I just said, that so our second problem is that how do you standardize, harmonize this huge amount of data? Like we collect around 18 million SKUs every month, correct? So this data set is huge from almost 1200 plus data sources. How do you really harmonize, standardize, and put them into a common data model is again, so that needs the infrastructure and design of the platform, which can actually serve multiple different use cases. So that's where we invested. Second piece of investment went into building that common data model. The third thing is that to make these actionable intelligence. So that's where we started solving that problem by bringing in AI, generating insights both for different personas, a merchandiser, a pricing manager, or a product manager, or a category manager, or an e-commerce head. They will need these insights in a different format, in different scale, different granularity. So bringing in AI and Gen AI technologies and capabilities actually help them. And on top of that, everybody likes nowadays in the chat GPT world, so everybody likes conversational assistants. So building a conversational assistant had made the life of our end users very easy.
So when you talk about speed of data ingestion and building the data foundations for maybe the retailers or e-commerce companies or brands, so what you're suggesting is that the complete solution that you have, it helps all of these companies look at their data foundations, get all the data, and then manage all of their data, build the data models, write appropriate data models for them.
So they don't need to build data models to, if I didn't represent it correctly. So the good thing about is that most of the things that you are working is the public facing data or publicly available data. There's always a syndication of internal data also, like if you have the business rules, brand guidelines, you have the sales number, or you have the conversion numbers that you have from different retail marketplaces. All of that gets syndicated. But the core of the data is actually that is coming from different external sources, which we build the common data model and make it so robust that getting the data at any given point of time is easier.
Okay.
So that because the consumption medium is also from our side only.
Sure.
So they really log into a type of a SaaS model where they will consume the insights, make the decisions, and then go ahead and start focusing on their core business of how to really enhance the growth of their products.
So when you say that there is a bit of AI and Gen AI embedded intelligence into the platform, so we are really looking at a chat GPT style function where is it mostly augmented analytics?
Yes, it is. Let's see if you see how and where the AI is getting used. So first of all, I talked about that detecting the anomalies in the data sources and preventing any data pipeline breakage. That's one area where we use it. Second thing is that generating the insights, that's where you think augmented analytics side, where you summarize them, and rather than looking into multiple graphs and charts, you know where you need to do. So if you get an alert that this particular competition has introduced a new product in that price range, or this particular product is going out of stock, expected to go out of stock in 5 days on this particular retailer, these type of AI insights are very helpful to make quick actions and decisions. Third thing is that then there are other things that were very complex algorithmic problem. First problem is that data mapping. So say you have a particular product, okay, or which you are selling, and I am your competition and I am selling another product. And somebody wants to really understand between these two products, which one you want to understand, which are my products which are competing with yours. So you can go and manually identify basis different types of attributes and factors and various types of price points and other things and do that. But it takes a lot of time for fast moving products like CPG technology, like phone, laptops, tablets, apparels and all those things. So that's where our AI algorithm actually can do very smart product mapping on the go. So if everyday competitor, you may have, typically every brand will have 3 or 4 top competition, and then you have some like boutique competition. So you are always looking at, as a brand in a global marketplace, you're looking at at least couple of dozens of competition in all.
Sure.
And how do you keep track with who is introducing which product, which particular product is your true competition, at what price range, at what segment. So that challenge gets solved with AI to really identify and do a automated product mapping. So that's another side. It's not an augmented analytics. It's more of solving this with the speed. So that's where the agentic AI comes in. That's where the entity recognition model, NER models comes in. And that actually helps us to solve that. The other side is that like content and content effectiveness is very important for your search performance and your conversion. So for that perspective, if you can, like typical digital shelf products will give you say some sort of a content score. They will say that this content or this image is as per the brand guidelines or standards or as per the guidelines of Amazon A10 or A11 content standards. But so what's next? You have to generate the content according to that.
Sure.
So generating the content means, or getting the content means, you have to go through your typical copywriting and your agency route to get that thing updated or updated. But what if the system only detects it and auto corrects it?
Wonderful.
And pushes it through an API integration with the retailer. So that's where again AI comes in.
Sure.
Another thing is the personalization. So we are now actually building a end-to-end solution for a technology brand where they are having their the product information management, the true original product content that gets localized as per the personas of the buyers in individual country. Then it gets localized as per the bias of within the individual retailers.
Sure.
So like if you take any retailer, like in India, if you say a buyer on Amazon or a Flipkart will be different than a buyer on a Chroma. In the US, a buyer on Amazon, Walmart, a Target, and say Best Buy are having different personas because the type of people, like in classical brick and mortar, we say footfall. Yeah. So number of people who are visiting, the visitors or the traffic is different. That is where again, based on these patterns, we build micro segmentation. The same, say, laptop manufacturer will have, for the same laptop, will have different content in different retailer on different countries. See the targeting and the audience syndication that you need to do to make sure that your conversion is higher.
Sure.
So again, that's where another use case of AI coming in, where we are able
That's
to
wonderful, Debo. So in fact, I think you've pointed out a lot of differentiating factors, right? From AI models to augmented analytics to how you are embedding AI, Gen AI, and now agentic AI within the entire solution, right? So, but I'm sure that this is the state of affairs. I think all the digital shelf providers right now are moving ahead, incorporating AI, Gen AI solutions right now. So let's try and talk a little bit more about the complete solution that you have. So let's, it would be great if you could summarize and highlight the top key differentiators that brands, companies should look at while considering to work with Compete.
Yeah. So I will start from the basics. As I see, the speed and scale is very important because most of the brands that we are working with and most of the brands I think we refer to, and everybody is a global brand. They are trying to have a global place in their competitive market. So speed and scale is very important, and that's where we have been focusing on as the foundation. So that's where I think we have sorted it out, and that's where we are quite ahead of our competition, which we can completely really talk about. And we have seen that in practice. Okay, so there are things like recently we transitioned in one of the leading software providers or global software providers, and they transitioned from their existing digital shelf provider to C5 Compete, and that is where they said, hey, it is done. We thought it will be taking a month to get this change done.
Okay.
So that's a wacky thing that we have seen. Like it was like unbelievable. Like I can still not believe it. Am I hearing? my
Is this
years
the
are correct
truth?
or not?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
the truth?
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's a very, I would say, we don't really wait for the testimonials formally drafted. This surprise reactions become the testimonial for us.
Sure.
The second thing is the differentiator is moving ahead and really adopting AI at the speed of AI.
Sure.
Because like you earlier, people used to say that speed of light. Now it's the speed of AI, because every other day you will see a new model is coming up,
Absolutely.
a new platform is coming up, new innovation is coming up. So that is where we say that you have to adopt AI at the speed of AI.
Sure.
So that is where we say that we are differentiating, because as soon as we see any opportunity to build in any new feature, we take an AI first approach. So like I was talking about that, when you get actionable insights, even if it is summarized, you need to action it. And action means the downstream process has to be there. And that's where we didn't wait for anything to happen. We started really investing on agentic AI, created a agentic workflow of taking a pricing action, promo optimization, or maybe search optimization, content optimization, all of that. And now we are transforming into agentic process. And whenever we are talking into a new prospect or even the existing client, they are talking. Yesterday, I was meeting a client and they were saying that, okay, our next frontier is that how do we really make our downstream teams life easier? What's there for them? Then that's where we started showing them how agentic AI can actually help solve that type of complex problem, where a pricing decision in an omni-channel environment is a very complex problem. How do we navigate that complex maze and use agents to solve that problem? So that's where the second thing is that adoption of technology is again a big differentiator that I would say.
Okay, great. So I think next frontier for AI-based systems is agentic AI.
Yeah.
And I think the audience would also be interested to understand a few use cases for agentic AI. I think you've touched upon some of these.
Yeah.
But it would be great to know about some of these agentic workflows, maybe agents and maybe certain activities that you could point out in some more details.
So as I said that we were using classical product mapping algorithm and NER model, classical ML models to do that. So that's where we are redesigning and reimagining the agents to do a product mapping. Okay. So earlier, means I would say 10, 12 years back, that was a type of typically KPO job.
Okay.
Where you will get a catalog of yours and you will have a catalog of your competition, and somebody will look into the products and they will say, okay, this product A matches with this product A52 of your competition, correct? That got transformed where you have the ML algorithms coming in, machine learning comes.
Sure.
Now, what we are deploying is the agents. So agents which will do an attribute matching, agent that will do an image matching, agent which will resolve conflict between two similar looking products or similar products. Okay. So those are the things that we do, especially in the grocery category. We see this as a big problem because we do a lot of quick commerce work as well. So the grocery categories is very difficult to really match because they are not branded and labeled.
Sure.
So that's where we are also bringing in agents to really identify these attributes, the agents which will actually use computer vision to really identify the exact product that it is, and then identify the possible matches. And then there's I would say disambiguity agent that is there. So if there's an ambiguous mapping, then this disambiguation is done by another agent. So that's one area of doing that. Second thing, as I talked about, is the action maps, correct? So the action maps are created as built, and then the agents are deployed to really do the subsequent activity of really doing this. Like one is that autonomous pricing agents, correct? So this will define that when I'm taking a pricing decision for this particular type of category, what are the factors that I need to take? So when you take a pricing decision, you just don't take what is competition pricing. So you look into what my sales of this product, what's my current inventory. If I am having a lot of inventory, I will not go ahead and increase the price because I want to stay low in price and make it very competitive so that I can clear my inventory. Now these intelligence, which was being at discretion of humans, that is being done by the agents. So again, these are the classical example of agents taking over and making those decisions. Obviously, then you need a human in the loop,
sure,
because you don't want the agents taking a completely autonomous decision and that get reflect into a minor error for a high value and high volume SKUs or products, it can be disastrous. So we also have that built in as the human in the loop.
So I think that is an important point, and I was coming to that specific question. So when agents will take over some of the analytics and intelligence-related activities, how do you actually build trust within this overall process?
Yeah. So
I think human in the loop is actually very, very important.
yes. So one of the things that you talked about is what are the challenges around digital shelf today. Okay. So because as we are investing on this, we are trying to stay relevant and we are trying to pioneer in some areas. Some of our competition who are having the similar and mature product, they are also trying to do that.
Sure.
And everybody will have this same challenge adopting agents, not only in the digital shelf space, but everywhere. That how do you really have the reduced bias, make sure that there's no error in that, no hallucination in it, what type of guardrails that you need to do. Certain things should not go against the brand also, like especially like generating the content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important thing. How do you really have the certain this thing? Like example of that content generation for one of our technology client, they said that okay, there's a difference between a fast graphics card and ultra fast graphics card or extremely fast graphics card. There are certain things that they say that it is not. We need to go through our legal team to get things done, because every keyword that an AI or a large language model is adding, that can land that particular brand in trouble, because that becomes a claim.
Sure.
And we know that if you're making a claim either in your ad or in your product content or in your product label, okay, they can take you to the lawsuit, correct? They
Sure.
can invite a lawsuit for you. Anybody can say that, okay, how can you say that this is a ultra fast wherever this another thing is giving you better results, okay, another graphics card is giving you better results. So there's a lot of nuances around it, and that's why the guardrails has to be there. There has to be proper AI governance and proper AI audit happening before you really deploy an AI and hand it over to a AI agent. And regular, I would say regular audit and regular governance checks is required. So you can make AI work as your on your instructions, but not take it over completely. So whenever we are working with our customers, we remain transparent where we are using AI and where we are not using AI. That's I would say responsible AI posture that we take, and making sure that all of that is transparent. And if you link it back to my first statement, that we don't call these are products, which remains as a quote unquote black box. We try to make it as a glass box approach. If we are not exposing all the code, but at least we say that this is the purpose of this model, this is where the AI used. So that's how we try to stay relevant, but be cautious about the pitfalls that can be there, and avoid them very carefully.
Absolutely. That is in fact a very important takeaway for at least all the customers. Whenever you're working with AI agents, you have to build the necessary guardrails
Yes.
around all of the aspects that you've touched upon, and especially when you're working with content.
Yeah, that's important.
That is very, very important.
That's important.
So, Debo, one of the other issues that maybe companies must have pointed out is in the area of integration. In how integrated is your solution with the other systems that they may be using? So, for example, the product information management systems or the DAM solutions that they are using, or maybe in that case, CRM solutions. So, what is your take on that? How well integrated is your solution?
So, see, integration is like a given thing. Integration cannot be it cannot be avoided, because when I talk about speed and when I talk about scale, integration is given. So when we integrate it, the only thing that needs to be seen is that the sanity of that integrated system, because I'm integrating and I cannot push any content into that. So that's again another thing, is that whatever guardrails are there for them to prevent any type of data push that can be detrimental to any other downstream system. Like product information management is just not that it powers a digital shelf of their product shelf across retailers. It can be used for their some financing and accounting purpose also.
Sure.
So those type of integrations has to be carefully taken into account. Pulling the data and showing some analytics and showing some trend and all those things is a low risk integration. So, but when we do this, we define the integration architecture in such a manner where there is high risk integration and low risk integration. When it's high risk integration, we prefer to do it with an API or middleware call, so that there's a ways to really filter and validate things. Whenever it's a low risk, we can do an asynchronous integration with PIMS or CRM system and as it is needed. Like some of the promotion systems, like a small error in a promotion getting pushed. Like if I have a promo recommendation and I'm giving a $2 off, I'm just giving it this thing.
Sure.
No, $20 off is my recommendation from my engine. Rather than $20, it becomes a 20%. For a high value product of like $2,000, you can see the impact that it creates, correct?
Sure.
So that's where we say that integration needs to have its own guardrail also. Like AI has to have integration also, because it can really create havoc. So we identified low risk and high risk, and then we have different types of integration checkpoints and other guardrails to really go ahead and implement. But we do integration.
Okay, that's great to hear. So in fact, I think Debo, over the last 20-25 minutes, we have actually looked at overall digital shelf problems that customers face. We have looked at how Compete actually solves that particular problem. We've looked at the key differentiating factors as well. We have discussed some of the key challenges that are there with agentic workflows. But let me come to a very important segment right now. I think AI is more noise than real value. At least that is what the apparent that is what apparently most of the customers think. So I'm going to grill you about Compete's value proposition, the value that the customers are actually getting out of the solution. So could you help us with 2 or 3 customers and give us some facts and figures as to what is the real value that these customers have actually derived after implementing these solutions?
If you really want it to be in context of actual value that real life customers are deriving, so I will talk about one customers for whom we have been working for last 5 years, okay, and they were investing on lot of banners across their global marketplaces where they have their products being sold, marketed, and all those things. And this investment go through the structured as well as ad hoc media planning, where they work with their media partner to display their banners, and they pay their media partners in a huge in terms of millions of dollars. Not getting a visibility what is out there in terms of banner, how long they have signed up for that it should be there for 15 days or 2 weeks, and if it is out in 10 days, they are actually paying for those additional 5 days and not getting the benefit out of that. Then really having a measurement that, okay, what is my competition doing? Are they changing the banner frequently? What is the quality of that? I'm taking very, very real use case.
Sure.
Not having that visibility of what my competition is doing, what I am doing, what my net impact of these banners have been. So we solve this by creating a very structured, balanced scorecard for their banner investment. Okay. So how much you are spending, where you are present, where you are not present, what is your competition doing in terms of the freshness of the banner, the age of the banner, what is the quality of the banner in terms of the creative quality, in terms of your image quality, as well as what type of if your banner is about a latest generation product or latest variant that you have introduced, and that is shown in along with a old version of the product or old product, it is not doing its job. Correct? It has to really highlight what is new. So those type of placement of the banner to the quality of the banner, as well as the volume and the frequency and the location of the banner, all put together in a single balanced scorecard type of scorecard for banners, has been drastically improved their ROI on the investment that they were doing, which were in the billions. So that's
billions.
Yeah, in millions, not billions, in millions.
Okay.
So even you can understand that if you're doing in millions, and in today's world with so much it may be showing okay in millions, but when everybody is really trying to survive and grow in this competitive world, even $1 million saved or $1 billion preventing for going loss is also an important thing.
Sure.
So that is the reason everybody is so conscious about that. And spending has actually come down, as you must be seeing, especially on the technology industry, the spending has come down. So every dollar saved is every new dollar earned. So that is the reason they found it is very impactful. And obviously we use all the three capabilities or differentiators: the speed at which we can collect the data, like from different banner sources, then having AI algorithms to really identify these gaps and comparative analysis, and then creating the most impactful and insightful banner scorecard is what that really solved that problem. So that's one of the important area. The second thing, as I was talking about this, having very personalized, targeted, I would say content, which is actually giving them the boost in their conversion. So that is again another area where AI is really bringing in and a lot of impact. So while to some extent, I would say there are a lot of fad and a lot of hype around AI, but picking up the right use cases and deciding on the ROI right in the beginning, that how do I measure the success of this initiative, is very important. So that is why in these two scenarios, we have defined that this is my success criteria, this is the ROI I'm expecting, and I will deploy AI where it is necessary. The solution doesn't need everything, all AI. It can be a combination of classical machine learning, it can be classical automations, as well as the AI and agentic AI in place. So it has to work in tandem. And that's where we see that the success is there. If you try to sell everything on the basis of AI, that's where people will have that understanding or revelation that like everything AI doesn't work.
Sure.
But you need to have a balance.
Okay, wonderful, Debo. So let's say if your customers have to access this particular platform, would it be correct to assume that there will be a subscription cost for the platform, or will this be a mix of platform plus services?
Services are not necessarily needed. So it's a subscription, but initially there needs to be a setup. And as I said, that we typically take an, I would say, platform approach to really understand what problems you are trying to solve.
Okay.
What is the ROI that you are expecting? What are your success measures? Then set up and configure the platform according to that. And we don't recommend that whatever is available in it, you have to take it as one go. Okay. You can go where your main problem is area. If your pricing is main problem, you start with pricing. If you feel that your product content is not optimized and different, your brand is not properly represented across all the 100 retailers where you are present, start with that. Okay. So go with the low-hanging fruit where you see the success and adoption and the impact, and then you scale it up. So we have made it modular, we have scalable, and for each of these, there are different subscription plans, there is different configuration and setup costs. That is how we define it.
Okay, wonderful. So now coming to the last leg of this interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So let me ask about some of the trends that you foresee for the next 2-3 years in this space. What kind of trends do you foresee? And basically all the customers need to be ready for these kind of trends. What are some of the top 2 or 3 trends that you think will be there?
So one thing is there, like one of the trend that we expect, obviously, as AI become richer as well as more independent in terms of decision making, the trend is coming is that take the decision and go and execute the decision as well. So in that case, we see that there is a constant friction with the team, underlying team, downstream team, who are not really ready to let this happen easily. So their speed at which their adoption happen in that organization, those organizations will see the benefit faster, and the laggards in that space, there will be a delay there. So what we feel, the trend that is everybody is adopting AI, so there will be always a differential created. Okay, so early adopters and laggards, that because the speed is very high and the impact is high, so there will, first of all, there will be some high performing brands and retailers, and there will be a people who are not adopting it, that the difference or the gap will increase. So that's one trend that I can foresee. Second thing is that integration is, again, a lot of dollars will be spent on integration, because now that you are taking the decisions in an autonomous manner or in an AI assisted manner, if you can't really complete the entire end-to-end value chain, it will become a problem.
Sure. So
that is why the last leg, if it is not really executed well because of the integration, that will then become a bottleneck. Sure. So that's where a lot of integration dollar will be spent going forward, and that is where things will differentiate between the makers and breakers actually.
Sure.
Third thing that will also happen is that these brands, okay, will become much and more digital heavy. The shift is always seen, and it is more and more moving to us. Like if you see the advent of quick commerce, quick commerce is a phenomena which is a combination of social, like there are Gen Zs and Gen Alphas who want to order and get things in 10 minutes because don't want to lose time on shopping, and that's why that is there. But the technology is the main driver for this. Correct? So the trends will happen is that whatever is driven by technology, the adoption will be better. I'm not talking about adoption from the brands and
Sure.
enterprising, adoptions which will be from the consumer perspective.
Right.
Anything that makes things easier and faster will drive these. Correct? So if your digital shelf solution makes you more agile, more quick in taking your brands to your consumer, bringing in the results to them, making the purchase journey easier, your products will sell faster and more.
Sure.
So it's not that your core product, but the purchase experience is actually creating the difference. So that's where, again, I would say digital shelf will play an important role.
Sure, absolutely. In fact, Debo, you have already touched upon a lot of points regarding integration. I think that still remains one of the key trends that you foresee.
Yeah.
And you already have made a lot of investments as far as your platform is concerned. And you already have made a lot of investments as far as guardrails are also concerned. What is that one specific feature, let's call it a superpower feature, that you would like to be added in your platform over the next 2-3 years that could really capture the solution to address some of the trends that you mentioned?
That's a very interesting question, Sandeep. The reason is that digital shelf is a little quite variety, because if I said 5P of marketing, so 5P has a different ways of the consumers within an organization. If I take a brand like XYZ, who is a global brand, the consumer of the same platform are 5 different teams within that enterprise ABC.
Sure.
Correct? Or XYZ. So that's why it becomes very difficult and disparate, or it's a federated within the organization, because they don't talk to each other in tandem. They don't operate in like somebody who's writing the content for the product and somebody who's deciding the price and somebody who is responsible for search. They're not really an integrated team. So I feel that one differentiating factor is that if my digital shelf platform, which currently creates a 360-degree view very easily, our landing page is a 360-degree view of the entire digital shelf performance, but how do I really create an integrated collaboration system? So that's where we are actually transforming this digital shelf platform to a complete commerce platform or DCOM platform.
Sure.
To create a collaborative space also. So that's one thing that we are really aspiring for the next 2-3 years. 2-3 years is a long window in today's world, today's time. So within next 1.5 years, we are trying to transform it is a DCOM collaboration space. Digital shelf measurements are one part of it, but it can actually, you can run like a complete basically brand in a box type of thing.
Sure.
So that is how we are really transforming the platform and making it as a single place where every team will come together and make decision for their products in a unified manner.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great point, Debo. So I think the key takeaways for organizations are that there are all of these challenges which can easily be addressed if you use AI-powered digital shelf solutions, and you could reap a lot of benefits like speed, agility. You could actually make the entire purchase experience of your potential customers very, very seamless. And obviously that can lead to a lot of higher conversion rates for you. So I think there are a lot of benefits of using AI-powered digital shelves. The other interesting things that you've talked about is they are about the usage of agents within the overall e-commerce flow. I think that is an interesting trend that all of your potential customer segments actually need to be quite cognizant of. So the other interesting point that you have highlighted is that while all of these AI technologies, agentic AI technologies have to be used, there needs to be certain guardrails with regards to ethics, with regards to data security, privacy, and also with regards to governance. And organizations also need to take care of integration. I think integration and collaboration. Collaboration is the last point that you touched upon. So these are interesting takeaways for the audience here. On that note, Debo, thank you so much for sharing all of these insights. I'm sure the audience has a much deeper understanding and appreciation of the overall concept of AI-powered digital shelf. And I'm sure they will use this information wisely to make their own decisions about digital power shelf. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. Really enjoyed this conversation. You really touched upon and intrigued me with some of the witty questions. Really enjoyed being here, and looking forward to have future conversations like this
Sure.
as things change and as things evolve.
Absolutely. Likewise, it was a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.